We are live with another episode of the Keeg Chats. Today is a very special episode because today the Keeg Chats with artist Luciano Vecchio. Luciano, happy to have you on the show. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me. Hi, how are you?
You're so nice. I feel like somebody of your talent and your expertise should be a lot meaner. And so I'm very
No, why?
happy. I'm very happy that you're not one of those rude artistes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, why would I? It sucks being mean.
Thank you for that. Luciano, you are an amazing artist and creator. I remember I can't remember when I first saw your work, but uh, I think I fell in love with your work right off the bat. You were doing covers, you were doing interiors. Most recently, I read Uncanny X-Men that had your art on the interior. I see your covers pop up everywhere. So thank you so much for taking time out of your night to be here on the Keeg Chats.
Well, thank you. I'm always happy to.
Where I guess I would have to like rewind the clock a little bit because I think that like most people, I'm sure when they're talking to you, they're wondering how did this guy get so talented? Is there an easy story for you and your art and how you got started?
It's, I mean, it's a long story, but it's very linear because I started drawing when I was a kid. I never stopped. I was very obsessed and decided very when I was very little that I wanted to draw comics when I grew up. And then as an adult, I had many years of um, the early years of my career doing independent comics, create your own, small publishers, storybooks, anything that was work. And then around 2012, I started doing my work for DC and Marvel. But it's been like a progress because I started doing my work for Marvel Universe proper, the main canon, with my own style around 2018, and I've been doing that ever since.
So
So
I mean, I feel like there's no easy way of sort of doing what you do. You have to spend a lot of time. You got a lot of spend a lot of time and hours and effort, and I'm sure carpal tunnel or something with the art that
yeah,
you
my
do.
wrist is
Yeah.
but hurts.
How old were you when you first started drawing? Was it something like you were a baby and suddenly you're doing everything on the
Yeah, I mean,
walls?
like every kid, all childs draw since we are very little, and most stop at some point. And there are artists that keep doing it our whole life. I think that's a common trait of professional artists. We just never stop.
Is that the
And
trick? Just don't stop?
I think so. Yes. And in my case, I'm also very. What works for me is focusing on one thing at a time and giving all my energy and attention. So I didn't do any other kind of work ever. Or I didn't last long in college or getting any degree, but I did
Yeah.
study some things here or there. But my main focus was always to work as an artist.
Did you have other things you were thinking about when you were a kid? Do you want to be an astronaut? Like or no, you were just like, okay, I'm gonna be
No,
an
this
artist for the rest of my life.
yeah,
I'm gonna,
this
you
was
know,
the main focus.
mm-hmm,
It didn't seem easy. It seemed like a far-fetched desire, like a childhood dream.
mm-hmm,
But as I grew older, I dare trying. I realized that if so many artists are doing this for a living, maybe I could too.
yeah.
Uh, but it's with its difficulties. I am from Argentina. It is very far from the mainstream industry of Marvel and DC Comics, which was my main objective. Um, but yeah, there's also a big tradition of Argentinian artists working for all the big publishers around the world.
Hmm.
So that was an inspiration for me. And I started and kept trying. I started small and kept doing it over the years, trying many times uh, to put my step inside DC and or Marvel, and getting rejected at first a few times,
Hmm.
and then keep trying and adjusting my portfolio. And it's a long path, and you keep
Yeah.
working, and eventually it might happen.
I mean, I feel like with all the time and the effort and the hours that you put in, you are doing amazing work, and you're doing amazing work on your creator-owned project. You're doing amazing work, covers, interiors. Right now, it's a lot of Marvel stuff, and I feel like, is that the dream?
For me, it is
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, what I'm living right now is like my best time in my career. Uh, I am one of the Marvel Stormbreaker class of 25.
Hmm.
And that is something that I didn't expect to happen at this point of my career, because I've been doing this for a long, long while. But yeah, it happened, and it means working on a high profile book like Uncanny X-Men, which is a lot of pressure, and but also very inspiring and exciting.
Yeah.
And it's having a great reception, and I'm having the time of my life.
You mentioned that you grew up in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Um, are DC and Marvel comics popular in Argentina, or?
DC was much more popular when I was growing up.
Mhm.
We had the Spanish translations from Mexico, from Spain, and then in the 90s, some local
Yeah.
editions. But I didn't grow up in Buenos Aires itself, which is a big city. I grew up
Mhm.
in a smaller city. So I didn't have access to everything that was being published. I had access to whatever, and I read anything I could get my hands off on. Um, but yeah, when I was little, it was DC was much more. We had more access. It was more around.
Yeah.
I started reading more Marvel as an adult, um, as I when I started reading in English, and online and digital editions.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were always around, um, from the translated editions of many countries.
So you obviously love comic books and the characters, and you can see that in your work. And again, I mean, for anyone watching us live, you're watching us on youtube.com/the Keeg Show. You can see Luciano's work that I have put up here on a little slideshow. But if you're listening to the podcast, then I would recommend looking it up, because Luciano's art is amazing. And I feel like your love comes out in your art, um, because you read about these characters, you grew up with these characters. Is there a difference between drawing a character that you don't like versus you do like?
I try to. I mean, I I think it never happened that I don't like a character. Like I don't know. Recently, I did a cover with Punisher, which is not a favorite,
Hmm.
but for one cover, I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
I can get to study the character a bit and have fun. I don't know if I what will happen if I have to do a whole story, but I always try to find a point of connection or enjoyment with my assignment. Most of the times, I get to work with characters I know and love, uh, and if I don't know as much, I do my research. I try to be reading the published history of the character in my free time while I'm working on an assignment.
Hmm.
Um, to go deep, right? To not stay at the surface level. I want to connect with the character uh, mannerism and the 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 subtle details of the construction of the character
Yeah.
through the voices of all the authors, writers, and artists that came before.
Do you
Uh,
with your art? I always notice that there's a lot of like new costume designs and that sort of stuff. Especially with the X-Men, because the X-Men are always, they're changing costumes a lot and they're doing their own thing. But even um, I mean, there's a bunch of characters. They're always changing their costumes. Do you do you like designing new costumes for all these characters? Like,
oh
is that a
yes,
fun piece of it?
absolutely. Yes, I've been doing this as fan art before I started doing it as part of my show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the exercise of coming up with a reversion of or a new way to synthesize everything that the character is through their costume.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when the story needs it, or I don't know. For example, with Iceman,
Yeah.
I felt like we didn't he didn't have a that like the definitive costume yet, so I tried to do mine.
Yeah.
At least for me, it's a good synthesis of everything that Iceman is. And then there are other assignments that are also fun, but just for one story, like all the Hellfire Galas and Vigil and Murder this year, which is
It's funny
super
that you
fun.
bring that up because I was telling you before the show that oh, I want to know more about the Hellfire Murder that is coming up.
Hmm.
I'm a big X-Men fan, so I'm wearing my Storm shirt because you did Storm, uh, and Storm is one of my favorite X-Men, if not just my number one favorite
Yeah, mine
character.
too.
Just Storm is, she's a goddess, right? Um, so X-Men is really my big huge thing. I love all comics, but X-Men is huge. Um, but then you get to design Hellfire outfits. Do you get 100%? You get to design what you want? Do you have to work in a team, or how does that work?
It depends on the year. Usually there's some prompt. Like this year with the murder, what we knew is we were going for a callback to the classic aesthetic of the Hellfire Club,
Mm-hmm.
which is all the Renaissance clothing mixed with fetish gear
Yeah.
uh, and leather. So I started from there, and it's mixed with the masquerade aspect. So it's not each character wearing something that directly represents their code name or their powers,
Mm-hmm.
but the mask they're assigned. So yeah, I got a list of characters from the writer and the editors, and I started. I did Wolverine and Jubilee first because they're the lead characters in this story.
Mm.
They're the center of the cover. Um, once I got those two, the rest start appearing like part of a system.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Or last year for the visual, the prompt was doing mostly black and white and monochrome, which is super different from the previous Hellfire galas, which
Yeah.
were all color, all high fashion.
Because they were in
Uh,
mourning, right? Because it wasn't the gala. It was after Krakoa had ended, and it was the
right, it
Hellfire
was
Vigil.
a reminiscence and a celebration of Krakoa,
Yeah.
um, which is kind of solemn.
Yeah.
Even if Krakoa isn't really dead, Krakoa is out there in the White Hot Room, and
Yeah.
there's a whole civilization thriving there.
Yeah. How I think it's amazing not only that you're doing the art for all this, but you're also keeping up with the lore and the story and everything. Do you feel like you're doing double duty here? You have to do all this and you have to draw?
I don't have to, but I like doing it. Like it's not an obligation.
Mm,
You could perfectly be drawing your script and not reading anything or not. Uh, as long as you do the show and write the script, you can do it however you want. I do like immersing myself in the lore. Um, in fact, since I started on Uncanny X-Men, I started reading all of X-Men from the beginning because all over the years, you know how you like jump in and out over the
yeah.
years from a franchise.
Yeah.
So I had my hardcore periods, which were Morrison, Bendis, Krakoa, and a spotty reading of Claremont here and there. So yeah, I started from the beginning and I almost use all of my free time to read X-Men. And now I'm reaching. I started from the beginning, and now
Hmm.
I'm getting to Avenger versus X-Men, which is 2011, 12. So
Yeah.
getting near.
I can't
uh,
imagine. I mean, I feel like I've read almost all X-Men over the years, but I can't imagine jumping back in from the beginning and kind of going with that. That's a lot.
it's being super interesting. Now I'm a bit overwhelmed because you start to notice how, as the years passes, the franchise started being one book, then it was two, then it was four, and by where I'm now, it's like 10 books
Yeah.
at once. So it's starting to be more overwhelming, or take more time to finish like a year of publication. But I really am enjoying the experience. First, because I get to like map the everything all the story parts I have floating in my mind now
Mm.
are a coherent thread, and also I there are a lot of um, details I miss, or first apparition of a character that I met later on, um, and also noticing the trends in style, like when the 90s artists appeared, how that affected the writing,
Yeah.
and then in the 2000s how, I don't know, the movies influenced the comic, and well, I don't know. So yeah, I really enjoy that part too.
That's again, I feel like you're doing way too much extra credit. I feel like people will love you and your art even if you weren't going above and beyond, but you still do. You're doing all that.
I know I do it for me because I like it, but I also hope it shows in the work. Like I don't know, I hope whenever I draw any of the characters of Uncanny X-Men, I'm channeling all of this previous history.
Yeah. I feel like X-Men, because you've worked on so many different X-Men related books, X-Men really relies on the history of the characters and everything, to the point where in my head I'm wondering how old these characters are, like in the
Mm-hmm.
story. And so I know that there's no official ages for a lot of these characters, but in your head, do you draw Storm of a certain age? Do you draw Cyclops of a certain age? Wolverine is Wolverine. He does his
Yeah,
own thing.
it's
But
his.
like, do you have an age in mind when you draw them?
I sort of the tricky part is that the younger characters keep growing up, even if the middle characters don't.
Right.
My logic in my mind, roughly 4 years of publication should be like 1 year of age for the
Yeah.
characters. So I think I don't know if Storm was in her early 20s in the 70s. Now she will be at least early 30s.
Yeah.
Uh, there's also this tricky rule that supposedly these characters can't be over 30 for some reason.
Mm.
But then we're used to the movie version and everyone is over 50. All
Yeah.
the actors are over 40, over 50, and that's the norm. So I think these characters are okay being in their 30s.
I
Like
agree.
especially Cyclops, Shin, Storm, maybe Gambit and Row are 30.
Yeah. I mean, that's just an internal thing that I have fun with. I think to myself, how old are these characters? Because yeah, you do have Cyclops and Jean Grey and even Storm. They're all roughly the same age. But then you have Kitty Pryde, and then
Right.
you have Jubilee, who's a different age. And then after
Mhm.
Jubilee, there's like the new X sort of Academy X kids of a certain age, Prodigy and those guys. And then you have the outliers that are in Uncanny X-Men, and they're even younger. And so
Mhm.
there's a lot of ages to fit in that
Yeah.
range, you know?
And if you play by that rule, there's a lot of stuff happening every year of their lives.
They can't
So
sleep.
yeah,
None of them can sleep.
yeah. Yeah, Jubilee, for example, I think she should be now in her early 20s, but not no more than 23, maybe.
Okay.
Like she's still young, but clearly an adult. Same with
Yeah.
Kitty.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. See, I like the way you think. So good job there. Thank you.
I try to
You
make
have
sense
more
of it.
authority than I do, so I will I will cede to your expertise there. You mentioned Stormbreakers, and that was you were the Stormbreakers class of which year?
25. I'm on my second year now.
That is wild. That is wild. What was what was that like? Because in my head, I'm comparing it to there used to be. Well, I don't know whether there still is. There used to be like a there's like a rap magazine XXL, and so they would have like the freshman class rappers, like the newcomers come in
Mhm.
and stuff. So was that like Stormbreakers? Was Stormbreakers kind of like that? You were the freshman class of
Right.
artists coming into the industry.
I mean, it used to be called Young Guns, and now some of us aren't that young. So they changed the name to Stormbreaker. And they describe it as uh, that like your work with your style and whatever makes you unique makes an impact through the storm, through the noise of
Yeah.
the industry. And that's a huge compliment. um I know for me it was very revitalizing, because I'm not new. Like I started a long time ago, But I'm always sort of new, like it's so progressive, the exposure, the scope of the assignments.
Hmm.
So yeah, they put you like in the spotlight. Um, you become exclusive. Like I'm only working for Marvel and doing a lot of work,
Hmm.
which is great because it's the most work security you get as a freelancer.
Yeah.
Knowing that for a few years you have work, that's a great feeling that I never experienced before, because everything's very volatile and uh, so and yeah, it happened now, and I used to think like, well, if it didn't happen at this point, such recognition, maybe I don't know, like a lower level artist, and I'm doing an okay show. But yeah, I'm being recognized, uh, and given this opportunity to uh, be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Um, it's huge.
I think it makes all the difference that you love doing it, and I think that that's like a different thing, right? You have so much passion for what you do that it changes kind of your outlook. Like you worked hard. I'm sure a lot of it was struggle. You got to where you got to your stepping stones, which is awesome. Um, you do covers, and then you also do interior art. What's the difference in the process? I mean, I'm sure. I mean, it's a huge difference, sure, but
Yeah.
to you, how do you do both?
Well, the interior art is a very constant procedure. Like, there's a writer, an artist,
Yeah,
a colorist, and you're part of this chain of work, and the editors are coordinating the whole team effort. So I usually get the script. I will study it, look up for reference, imagine it in my head, and start doing layouts, focusing into the storytelling, the page composition, which is also a big part of my enjoyment, like picking and choosing how to tell the story. Um, and I try to do that stage very fast, and then I get to focus on actually drawing the page with more time. Um, and when I'm doing interiors, I'm mostly do inks only, and I get colored by someone.
hmm,
When I do covers, I sometimes get to color myself, uh, depending on time or depending on if it is a main cover or a variant. Usually, when it's a variant, I get to color myself, because my style is a little off of the coloring house style.
yeah,
When I color myself, I'm a little more influenced by animation. Like I like say cell shading and bright colors, and then the cow style of coloring is much more render, and it has more volume and other materiality that I'm not good at, or I don't like as much
yeah,
doing. But, and then I don't know. There's a difference if I get to do a cover for, like, the main cover for the issue of Uncanny. It has a story related prompt, and it's like a scene like the one behind your head right now.
yeah,
But then if I'm doing a variant for another book, maybe it's just a pinup of a character or something more iconic, or just to focus on something looking spectacular.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's very fun. In those cases, I usually get a prompt and I sketch like a few options, um, 2 or 3 options for the editor, and they pick one, and then I do it for
I
real.
didn't even see. This is where I'm learning. I'm learning so much. I didn't know that the process for you doing a cover is like you do more than the steps that you would do, right? Like that you're coloring it yourself sometimes. Uh, that's new to me.
Yes, in some of my covers I do.
Yeah.
I tried doing it for interiors, like for example, the Iceman special that came out a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That I did all of it. I wrote it. I did the art, the coloring.
Iceman Omega,
Uh, uh,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
I only didn't do the lettering,
that's fair.
but yeah, because I did it for a digital comic, I had the chance to color myself. But then I realized it. I can't keep the pace if I do it for like a whole book.
Yeah,
So yeah, I have to learn to let go of and not try to control everything.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and
Um,
collaborating with colorists is a great experience as well.
yeah, I I think that people out there when they look at comics, they essentially some people know that it's a communal sort of a process, and then some people think it's just that like first name that's their everything, right? Do you as an artist, how do you feel about like the whole team not getting credit versus one person? Is it just kind of something you accept? You shrug your shoulders. You're like, I guess.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that. I mean, I understand when. I mean, every comic is a product of the every person involved, but there is a sort of a hierarchy of replaceability. Like, I don't know, the if you like the writing, maybe the that same story could have been drawn by different persons, but with very different results. It wouldn't be the same
Yeah,
comic itself or exactly the same story. Um, and then the same art can be colored by different people or lettered by different people. So I understand that hierarchy, like when writers get that kind of main credit, I understand it in that sense. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a constant exercise of pedagogy. Like you have to explain to people how it works,
mm,
and all the people that were involved for this comic to exist. Um, but yeah, I try to not make much of it. Like, if people give me credit, I accept it, and I won't lose sleep if I don't.
yeah.
Uh,
I
that,
mean,
that,
people should be giving you a lot of credit because you do amazing work. So, um, and I feel like your name is getting brought up more and more, like each day. Um, the run or multiple runs, kind of or multiple arcs that you did on Uncanny X-Men, because you hop in, you do a thing, and then before I can like I'll keep reading because I'm constantly reading, and then before I'll realize, oh, you're gone, then you're back on it again, and I'll be like,
well,
oh,
yes, because Uncanny X-Men puts 18 issues a year, so it has
yeah,
to have rotating artists working at once. Like right now, I am working on my next arc, and another artist is working on his next arc,
mm-hmm.
and that's how it keeps moving and it gets published on time. Otherwise, it will be happen. So I didn't ever stop. I didn't get off the
Yeah,
book. I'm just jumping ahead and drawing my next arc, which with a few months ahead.
yeah, yeah. I didn't realize it until recently because sometimes I forget because I'm reading comics every week and we do a show called Comic Talk every Thursday where we talk about just that week of comics every week. So before I can miss anyone, they come back again. And then I realized that like Uncanny X-Men is more than once a month sometimes, a lot of the time.
Yes.
And then Amazing Spider-Man is the same way where I lose track of like, has it been a month? Oh no, it's only been 2 or 3 weeks maybe, and there's
Right.
another issue, and it's great, you know. Um, but your art in it has been great. I wanted to read out a question that I got from actually one of the Comic Talk crew, Joshua Stephen Ling. Joshua says he loved seeing the outliers in the New Mutants uniform in the Who's
Uh-huh.
Been Sleeping in My Bed arc. Uh, he says, "What are the chances that we can get more team uniforms?" Because he says he's an there's he has an eternal struggle to get X-Men their like team uniforms like back in fashion.
Right.
He's a big fan of that kind of collective team uniform like New Mutants. What are the chances that we're getting more team uniforms coming up?
We've been talking. I mean, we did it for that specific story, but we really like the result.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mix of. I don't want to make the aesthetic decisions only based on nostalgia,
Yeah.
uh, but something clicked when we did that New Mutant outfit for the Outliers. So we're it's in our case even beyond that story.
Okay. Okay. Talking about Uncanny X-Men too. How has it been working with writer Gail Simone on Uncanny X-Men? And it's all
For
right. It's
me,
a safe
it's
space. You can say anything bad that you want to. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
no, I couldn't.
No, I
No,
know.
for me, it's like a dream. I've been a huge fan of Gail's writing since Birds of Prey and Secret Six, uh, and I she was always an inspiration on uh, the doing the representation of characters outside
Yeah.
of the male norm, right?
Yeah.
And and for me, it was always like one of those far desires, like, oh, I wish I could work with Gail Simon, like I wish I could work with Grant Morrison, or like something kind of impossible or unattainable,
Yeah.
and it suddenly came true. Yeah, it's at the same time it's kind of weird. Like, okay, this is happening. This is life now, and we've been working for a year now. Um, and it everything it makes everything that was uh, imagination in my head, like now it's part of my everyday life, and she's a person. We're collaborating, and and we're putting out this awesome book, and I'm part of it. It's like sometimes I don't finish wrapping my mind around it. Like it's it's weird. I mean, I'm working from another same continent, but the another extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, the winter. I'm working in my home. Like my everyday setting is always the same, and then these big changes happen around it. But I don't. Uh, I don't get to experience, like I haven't been to the States in a while, so I haven't seen uh, X-Men, my X-Men in the comic shop or the
No.
conventions. Not this run. Like I did up until my last visit was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So it like everything the since then my growth has been quite exponential. uh, so yeah, it's yeah, it's a dream come reality.
that is wild. Just your trajectory and everything that you're doing. You're doing it from afar. I can't wait for you to actually come back here and kind of see the impact, maybe
Mhm.
at a convention or whatnot. Are you doing San Diego Comic Con? Are you doing any of those conventions at
No,
all?
not right now. Right now,
Are you
it's
too
not.
busy? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and going to visiting is not the best of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
also too easy. But yeah, I've been doing other shows in South America. I was in Brazil last week.
Mm,
I was in San Diego, the Spain version in Malaga last
mm.
year. Um, and yeah, I'm always wishing to go back. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Look, as a Californian, I'm saying that it would be awesome if you came here and you got to see the crowds and everything, and maybe everybody starts chanting your name, and then they
Yeah.
lift you up on the crowd, and then whatever. But it's funny. Actually, funny because a picture popped up of when Ransom and Wolverine go to the convention
All
in
right.
Uncanny,
Oh,
and
I haven't been paying attention to the projection.
yeah, they went there, and that was also kind of funny because I was reading that and I was just like, oh yeah, it's a Comic Con.
Yeah, it's a Comic Con, and it's a local Comic Con that
Mm.
exists here,
Oh, okay.
which it's called. I mean, the real one. It's called Crack Bam Boom,
Mhm.
and that's where I met Gail in person like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
As a fan, like I mean, I was a guest at the show, but I wasn't known then, and she was a guest. So when we started doing this story, she suggested having that scene happening in this event,
yeah.
uh, which is really nice, and it's one of the uh, best comic event in South America.
Mm.
It's created by Eduardo Rizzo, the artist of 100 Ballets.
Mhm.
And it's very made by comic people for comic people. It's not so much about movies or all the other aspect of pop culture.
Fair.
So yeah, we
Yeah,
we love that event, and we squeezed it in a comic scene and made
yeah.
it canon.
There are little things that you and Gail, and I can see that you guys are like working in tandem, um, and you guys work that into your stories. Like the synergy, I think is like you could see it, right? Like you could see that you guys are like clearly working together really well. Um, and so I mean, I hope that it doesn't end anytime soon. But knowing you, you're still, I mean, you do so much art and work and on different things. Something that just popped up on my screen is your Pride covers, the Pride variant covers for different series, and all of them are amazing. I mean, the art aside, the layout, just the way it works and everything. Uh, uh, how was that experience working on? I don't even know how many Pride variant covers you've done. Um, but for Pride Month, all these covers are coming out, and I just see your work on every title.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's 5 covers this year, but I started this series of character spotlight covers. I did them first for Uncanny, actually way before I jumped in as interior artist. I was doing variant covers.
Mm-hmm.
So I did one cover of each character for Uncanny. Then I did the same for Avengers, and then for the Adjectiveless X-Men. So this year, when the time for Pride covers came, I suggested doing the same composition with the characters that the sales team picked to spotlight for Pride covers.
Hmm.
And yeah, I like the. I designed this series as something that can keep being expanded. I like when some artists like Russell Lauterman has the all the costumes variants he does of a character with all of their costume over the years, and one of those covers will pop up in any title, and you can collect those. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to do something like that. And if it were for me, I could draw the whole Marvel universe like that all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Pride ones are very special for me. So and it's all over the line, so it's an like an extra important and fun project for me.
Again, your passion kind of comes through on this, you know. Um I'm waiting for a Punisher Pride variant cover. Um, no, I'm joking. Uh, um, but no, your Pride covers have been amazing, as well as your many other covers because you're all over the place. Um, couple things that I want to hit before we get done. Hellfire Murder is coming up, and let's see if I have this. Yes, here we go. I put it up with that little promotional piece that you have with Wolverine, with the mask, not just the Wolverine mask, but this masquerade sort of um, kind of aesthetic that you're going for. You're diving into this. What I mean, are you able to tell us anything about the Hellfire Murder that's coming up?
About the stories itself, I can't. Uh, I can tell my participation was
Yeah.
doing the this first I did discover and got to design a bunch of the masquerade outfits,
Mm-hmm.
and that serves as a basis for other artists. There are a lot of artists and writers in this special,
Yeah.
and the other artists came up with their own costume for other characters. That's always fun to see how and how other artists will draw the costume I design.
Mm-hmm.
And Gail and I have 5 pages mixed throughout the special.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. I today I got we get like a PDF with the lettering and the color like before it's available to everyone.
Yeah.
So I today I got to read it and it turned out incredible. I think people will love it.
You when you see that final thing and you can kind of just breathe that in, do you get to lean back and just kind of look at it, or are you just like, oh, looks good, back to work, and then you're like doing
It's
your thing?
both at once because yeah, usually I'm in the middle of work and I can't take that a big moment for a long moment for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the the most impactful is when I get the print copies,
Mm-hmm.
because I work digitally. I draw in the iPad screen. Um, and so and I read digital also. I'm not a big paper reader. I'm not collecting as much as I used
Yeah.
to. But when I get my copies, my print, um, it gives you like a sort of distance, uh, like oh I was there. I'm the person who drew this,
Yeah.
and that's a never gets old. That's a weird, nice feeling that never gets old.
That's awesome. Yeah. uh, the amount of time and effort that you put into everything, but then also the fact that you are a fan, I can't reconcile. Like, I'm sure you can't reconcile how that works. Being on both sides, looking,
Yeah,
making it. I can't imagine that.
yeah, but it's also I think it's an advantage in a way because I try to work for the kind of reader that I am. So I if I as a reader I pay attention to um, this or that detail, or I expect the artist to take care of the characters I love. As an artist, I will try to do the same, because I even the characters I'm not as familiar with, I know they're very significant to readers, and I try to embrace that and inject the work with the love it deserves, because
Yeah,
that's what people expect.
it comes through. It definitely comes through. Um, I don't want to skip over this final piece, and that is your creator-owned project, Sireno. Um,
Yeah.
and it's part of the slideshow that I've been showing. But would you be able to explain Sireno, and you're an artist and a writer on it. You're the creator of it.
Yes. Yeah, that's it's a project that started as a webcomic a while, uh, 10 years ago. Uh, it's the project where I found my voice as an author. Like, it was my first long story that I wrote, and it started as a webcomic, so it was very experimental. I did it for myself, and then it happened that it became a book. It was published. People liked it. It got translated to English later on, and it opened me doors to write at Marvel, on Iceman and the Pride specials.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a story that, for me, it was like a turning point. Like, I before that I was just an artist, doing my assignments and happy with that. But with the story, I leveled up to a dimension as author and understanding our role as communicators, even
Mm-hmm.
if we are doing entertainment. um, so yeah, it's a very dear work for me, and it's just one book. It got published in the US a few years ago
Mm-hmm.
through CEX. You might still find some copies around, and if you find it, get it, because it's just 100 pages. It's a complete story,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a queer superhero with light and magic powers, fighting darkness in a very spectacular and not hegemonic way.
Yeah.
That was my intention, at least.
Way to throw hegemonic into the conversation. So we've elevated this podcast. We sound so smart. Great.
I was worried I wasn't translating right.
No, no, no. That's right. That's right. Definitely correct. I mean, I definitely want to pick up Sireno. So I'm gonna have to look online and see what it is, and then I also need you to come here to California so I can get stuff signed. You know?
Oh, so I hope the sooner the better. Oh, and
Yeah.
it's a little trivia. My Iceman comic, which is in the story, Iceman is living in LA, and it happens in the West Coast. I was actually traveling through the West Coast while I was doing it.
Hmm.
It was written and drawn in San Francisco and LA.
Okay.
uh,
Nice.
so maybe that shows a bit in the story as well.
I love seeing LA. I love seeing California in Marvel Comics because for the longest time there was
It
nothing
didn't seem.
California in Marvel. It was all New York.
Yeah, right.
And now it's like, okay, every so often a character will, X-Men moved to San Francisco. That was great, you know, but it's mostly New York. So I need some West
Yeah,
Coast representation here.
it happens sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was part of my intention as well.
Yeah.
he has history. He lived in San Francisco. He lived in LA with the champions. So
That's right. Yeah, with the champions. Iceman's such a great character, and I'm so happy that you got to get your hands on the character and do what you wanted to do. It was an Infinity comic first, and then they compiled it to Iceman Omega in print,
right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm definitely keeping up with that. Storm, Uncanny X-Men, all the things that you do. You are staying busy. So I want to thank you again for, like, I can't imagine, like, I'm taking time away from you to interview you
No,
here.
I mean, this is part of the, the social aspect of
Yeah.
making comics is something that we can easily lose track of or
Mhm.
become too isolated. So I really appreciate this, and I had a great time. So
If
thank you.
Thank you. If you fall off schedule, everybody's gonna blame me. And you
No,
know
it
how much
won't
hate
happen.
I'm gonna get? But then you're off the hook. Then it's not your fault. It's my fault for bringing you on this show.
Yeah, it won't happen. Don't worry.
Thank you so much, Luciano, for coming on the Keeg Chats and talking about everything. Your love of comics, your work on Uncanny X-Men, the upcoming Hellfire Murder, your creator-owned project Sereno, which I'm definitely going to be picking up, and I will do my hardest to figure out how I can get a signature for it. Before we get going, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? If you have anything to plug that you want to plug, feel free. Yeah, I'll let you.
You can find me online. I'm mostly on Instagram, Luciano Vecchio Art, or X Luciano Vecchio. And I'm currently drawing my next arc of Uncanny X-Men, and I'll be there. I hope for a long time. So yeah, my next arc it starts on issue 33,
Mhm.
through 36.
Through
It's 4 issues.
infinity. You're just gonna keep working on it.
Yeah, hopefully. So yeah, they stay called Uncanny X-Men. We have we're giving it all there.
That's awesome. Again, we've been talking about Uncanny X-Men every time it comes out. We talk about it on Comic Talk, and your art on it is amazing. So thank you so much for your contribution to comics, because it'd be different without you. So thank you so much for
Thank you
making
so
an impact.
much. Thank you.
For anyone out there who is watching us right now, thank you so much for watching us. Maybe you're watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're at, however you're digesting us. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review. Let us know that you're out there. Follow Luciano online. Instagram is a big one, Luciano Vecchio Art, and that's how I found him. Definitely stay tuned for more Uncanny X-Men and Hellfire Murder, and all that jazz. Thank you so much, Luciano, for your time. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been the Keeg Chats with artist Luciano Vecchio. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Super strong or super fast. Gotta beat the boss and get the loot, 'cause it's the king, and we got geek news.